What I wish I knew before my very first ice cream headache. If you've ever been happily devouring a delicious scoop of ice cream, only to be suddenly struck by a sharp stabbing pain right in the middle of your forehead, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's that moment when pure joy turns into a moment of agony, and you're left wondering, why does eating something so good have to hurt so much? Well, you're not alone. Almost everyone who's ever enjoyed a frozen treat has experienced this strange phenomenon at least once in their life. But what's really going on inside your head when this happens? Let's dive into the cool science behind the infamous brain freeze. First things first, it's not just in your head, and you're definitely not imagining it. Brain freeze is a real, scientifically recognized event, and it's got a fancy medical name to match. Sphenopalatine ganglioneuralgia. That's a mouthful, right? But don't worry, you don't need a PhD to understand what's happening. Scientists and doctors have actually studied this phenomenon in detail, using everything from brain scans to anatomical models to figure out why our bodies react this way. So, the next time someone laughs at you for clutching your head after a big bite of ice cream, you can tell them you're experiencing a legitimate physiological response, one that's been studied in labs around the world. So, what's actually happening when brain freeze strikes? Let's break it down step by step. Imagine you're sitting outside on a hot summer day and you finally get your hands on a giant bowl of your favorite ice cream. You take a big, enthusiastic bite, and for a moment everything is perfect. But then, out of nowhere, you feel a sudden, intense pain right in the center of your forehead. It's like someone flipped a switch from pleasure to pain in an instant. This isn't just a random occurrence, there's a fascinating chain reaction happening inside your mouth and brain that causes this icy headache. So picture this. You take a massive spoonful of ice cream, maybe even more than you should because let's be honest, who can resist? The cold, creamy goodness hits your mouth and you're in dessert heaven. But as that ice cream makes contact with the roof of your mouth, also known as your palate, things start to get interesting. The temperature in your mouth drops rapidly and your body has to react to this sudden chill. Suddenly, bam! Your forehead feels like it just got hit by a snowball. It's a jolt of pain that can stop you in your tracks, make you wince, and even bring tears to your eyes. It's almost as if your brain is punishing you for enjoying your treat too quickly. But why does the pain show up in your forehead when the cold is actually in your mouth? That's where the science gets really cool. That's brain freeze, or to get fancy, sphenopalatine ganglioneuralgia. This long, complicated word actually tells us a lot about what's going on. Spheno refers to the sphenoid bone in your skull, palatine points to the palate or roof of your mouth, ganglio means a group of nerve cells, and neuralgia is just a fancy word for nerve pain. So in simple terms, brain freeze is nerve pain that starts in the roof of your mouth and gets sent to your brain. But how does this happen, and why does it hurt so much? Here's what's going on. When something super cold hits the roof of your mouth, the blood vessels in that area react almost instantly. First, they constrict, or get smaller, to try to preserve heat and protect your body from the cold. But then, just as quickly, they dilate, or get bigger, to bring warm blood back to the area. This rapid constriction and dilation is your body's way of trying to maintain a stable temperature in your mouth and head, but this sudden change doesn't go unnoticed by your nervous system. In fact, it sends a strong signal up to your brain, letting it know that something unusual is happening. This sudden change confuses your brain, which thinks the pain is coming from your forehead instead. Why? Because the nerves in your mouth and the nerves in your forehead are closely connected. Specifically, the trigeminal nerve, which is one of the main nerves in your face and head, is responsible for carrying sensations from your mouth, teeth, and face to your brain. When the roof of your mouth gets cold, the trigeminal nerve sends a pain signal to your brain. But your brain isn't always great at pinpointing exactly where that pain is coming from, so it interprets the signal as coming from your forehead. This is why you feel the pain up front even though the cold is actually in your mouth. It's a classic case of referred pain, your body's wires getting a little crossed. Referred pain happens when pain from one part of your body is felt in another area, usually because the nerves involved are closely linked. In the case of brain freeze, the nerves in your mouth and forehead share a common pathway, so your brain gets a little mixed up. This is the same reason why people having a heart attack sometimes feel pain in their left arm or jaw. The nerves are all connected, and the brain can't always tell where the signal is coming from. So, the next time you get a brain freeze, just remember, it's not your fault, it's just your body's way of dealing with a sudden icy shock. Want to make it stop? There are actually a few tricks you can try to get rid of brain freeze faster. One of the most popular methods is to press your tongue against the roof of your mouth. Your tongue is warm, and by pressing it up against the cold spot, you help transfer heat back to the area, which can speed up the return to normal temperature. Some people find that breathing in through their mouth and out through their nose can also help, as the warm air can help thaw out the cold spot. If you're in a hurry to get rid of the pain, these tricks are definitely worth a try. Or, you can drink something room temperature. Taking a sip of water or another beverage that's not too cold or too hot can help bring the temperature in your mouth back to normal. This can help stop the rapid changes in your blood vessels and calm down the pain signals being sent to your brain. Just be careful not to drink anything too hot, as that can cause its own set of problems. And if you want to avoid brain freeze altogether, just slow down and savor your ice cream. I know it's tempting to eat as fast as you can, especially when it's hot outside or you're sharing with friends, but taking smaller bites and letting each one melt a little in your mouth before swallowing can make a big difference. Not only will you enjoy your treat more, but you'll also give your body time to adjust to the cold, reducing the chances of triggering that painful headache. Did you know that brain freeze is incredibly common? Studies have shown that up to 60% of adults and an even higher percentage of children have experienced brain freeze at least once. It's not just limited to ice cream either. Anything cold, like slushies, frozen drinks, or even ice-cold water, can trigger the same reaction. In fact, some people are more prone to brain freeze than others, and scientists think it might have something to do with the sensitivity of your nerves or the way your blood vessels react to cold. So if you're someone who gets brain freeze easily, you're definitely not alone. Around the world, people enjoy all kinds of frozen treats, from Italian gelato to Japanese kakigori, Mexican paletas, and American milkshakes. No matter where you are or what you're eating, the risk of brain freeze is always there. It's a universal experience that connects ice cream lovers everywhere. Some cultures even have their own remedies and traditions for dealing with brain freeze, like sipping warm tea after a cold dessert, or taking a break between bites to let your mouth warm up. Scientists are still studying brain freeze to learn more about how our bodies process pain and temperature. By understanding the pathways involved, like the trigeminal nerve and the blood vessels in our mouths, researchers hope to find new ways to treat other types of headaches, like migraines. In fact, some studies suggest that people who get brain freeze easily might also be more likely to experience migraines, since both involve similar nerve pathways and blood vessel reactions. So, the next time you get a brain freeze, you might actually be helping science learn more about the mysteries of the human brain. But at the end of the day, brain freeze is just one of those quirky things that makes eating ice cream a little more interesting. It's a reminder that our bodies are full of surprises, and that even something as simple as a cold dessert can set off a fascinating chain reaction inside our heads. So, the next time you're enjoying a frozen treat with friends or family, don't be afraid to laugh about it, share your own brain freeze stories, and maybe even have a friendly competition to see who can avoid it the longest. So next time you feel that Arctic headache, remember, it's just your body's quirky way of saying, hey, slow down, ice cream champion. Embrace the science, enjoy your treat, and maybe take a moment to appreciate the amazing ways your body works to keep you safe, even if it means a little pain now and then. After all, a little brain freeze is a small price to pay for the joy of ice cream. Stay cool, eat smart, and savor every bite.